Hi everyone, welcome back to Defi Daily. Today we will talk about something really important because yes, DeFi is not only try to speculate and try to find the APY that is highest into this industry, but it's also try to understand how the market will evolve in order to be able to understand what kind of platform will reach the success in the next couple of years. And we will try to understand together how this market will evolve from now until the 2025. And we will do it using the unFederalReserve case study that is also sponsoring this video. Before to start, guys, I would like to ask you to subscribe to the channel. You have to do is just to press the subscribe button. And remember also to leave me a big thumbs up and drop a comment in order to help other people find this content and become aware of what's going on in the market and how they have to approach this situation in order to take advantage also in the long term. Remember also that all the contents in this channel just for educational purpose and nothing has to be intended as a financial advice. If you want to invest in anything, that's good, but please do always your own research first. Okay, let's start. And before jumping into the platform of unFederalReserve, I want to ask you something. How do you imagine the market from now into the 2025? What do you think? Feel free to write me it into the comments below and I will be more than happy to answer to you. Because most of the time when we are talking about DeFi, we are just only focusing on speculation. But I truly believe that we should change our focus in order to be able to catch all the major opportunities. Because as we will see in a couple of moments, the market is ready for a breakthrough, is ready to change because this system is not sustainable into the next future, and at a certain point it will evolve in something different. And what's the goal of unFederalReserve is exactly try to look into the future. So try to understand how the market will evolve. And I want to start talking about how the market will evolve, starting with this chart. It is coming from DeFi Llama, and as you can see in the last year, the market of DeFi has gone from just a small market, about 20 billion, to right now that we are around 260 billion. So that's quite an impressive growth. But have you ever started to wonder how big is this market if we compare it to the traditional finance? I don't know if you have ever think about it, but let's have a look how it is compared to the real market. We can use this infographic that is not so updated, so the numbers could be a little bit different, but it's just important to give us an idea on what are the numbers outside the crypto space. We can use this number, the whole cryptocurrency that was 244 billion not even a year ago. And as you can see, 240 billion, that is around what we are right now with the whole DeFi ecosystem. And this is just a small fraction even compared to the military spending worldwide. And to be honest, it is even lower than the whole military spending in the only United States. And if you go on, you will see that this number, keep in mind this image and compare it to all the other markets. The Fed's balance sheet, billionaires. So look at the difference between the only what the billionaires are owning and what was the market of DeFi. Gold, Fortune 500, stock markets, money supply, global debt, and also global real estate. And what is even more impressive is, let's have a look here, derivatives. That's the financial market. And look at that. It is impressive. It's thousands of times higher than what was just the DeFi ecosystem. It's not ending anymore. It continues going. So that's quite impressive. If you think about that, yes, we are here right now, and that's great that we have gone from just 20 billion to more than 200 billion in not even a year. But the reality is that this market is really small at this moment. The question that we have to answer is, okay, we understood it, but how this market can grow? And what are the different challenges that we have to solve in order to be able to have a market that is growing? We need to be able to attract more players. And from one side, yes, we need to attract more retail players. And what's the problem with retail players? Is that all the people that are unfamiliar with the crypto space, it's quite difficult to even just setting a MetaMask account. It's not easier just like opening a phone and using an app. It's not easy like just opening a Facebook account. It's much more difficult, not to mention that all these charts, all these numbers, all these risk, it's not something that a normal user is able to use at best. Not to mention that on the other side, what we really need in order to explode this kind of value is to attract big players like institutions, companies, and so on. But there is a big problem if we want to attract that kind of players, is that we need regulation. Yes, because that's nice having a market without any kind of regulation. It's nice having the opportunity to experiment any kind of solution. But on the other side, this kind of landscape is not good for big players, because an institution, a company has to feel certain on how the government, in the moment when they will go to check their balance sheet, will react. They can't be exposed to the risk of DeFi without having the certainty that this is compliant to the regulation. So we have two main challenges in order to make this market keep growing. Challenge number one, we need something that is easier in order to attract users that are not so expert, that maybe are more aged or just not familiar with this kind of market. Secondly, we need more regulation. And this is something that will come, because don't think that the crypto space will remain like it is right now. This situation is just momentary and it will change in the next future. And this is not a possibility. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And yes, probably we can start discussing how it will change and how the regulation will be implemented. Yes, that's something that is still an open battle. But the point is that for sure this will change, and some regulation is also needed. And this is exactly from these 2 points that the unFederalReserve project is burning. Because what they are saying is, guys, we know that the market will change because it's needed, it's normal. It has been great until now, we have grown so much, but we need something different to attract more users, but also to put into this market also the big money. And in order to do this, we should think into the long term. We are not here just to create another speculative project that will be able maybe to deliver the best profit into the short-term period. I have no doubt, and I really love what's going on with all the Olympus DAO forks. But be aware that is something that is great in the short term. We don't even know how they will evolve. That's great for the growth of the market in terms of innovation, because the powerful thing about DeFi right now that everything is possible. You don't have to think about being compliant, just experiment and just trying to create the best service for the people. And that's something great. But on the other side, if you think long term, we already know what the market is needing. We need compliance and we need a user experience that should be the most friendly as possible. They are using the image of a ship for the only reason they are defining themselves as a safe harbor for all the users they want to approach to the DeFi ecosystem. The whole idea behind the unFederalReserve is to create like a bridge between the DeFi and the traditional finance. Because when we talk about DeFi, it doesn't mean that we want to delete the traditional financial system. We want to evolve it, and we know that to evolve something that is so big, we need some moment of transition. And this is something that is a certainty, because you can't simply change in one day a market that, as we have seen a moment ago, is so big. And for this reason, we need some bridge that is able to connect the DeFi system to the traditional market. And this is what unFederalReserve is doing through actually two different services. The first service is the typical lending DeFi platform that is a fork of a Compound. The reason why they chose to use a fork of Compound is because Compound is offering the maximum security. Because remember, the whole concept behind unFederalReserve is to being able to build something that should be secure at the maximum as possible, and have to be compliant, because in the future compliance and security will be the most important point. This is the interface of the platform. As you can see, it's working on Ethereum. Here you can find all the different markets. As you can see, the interface is pretty easy to understand. Here you can find all the assets that are supported. In any case, that's just a part of the whole idea, because as you can see, and what they are launching right now is reserve funding. That is a service that it will be able to really empower the market like probably no other service is able to do right now. The idea is to enable people who are invested in cryptos to be able also to be exposed into the easiest way as possible to the traditional market, to the traditional finance. But also on the other side, people who are investing in traditional finance, who are using traditional finance, who are having a bank account, can be exposed to the DeFi world with less effort. Because the whole idea is that, as we said a moment ago, many people are not able to use DeFi, so we need to simplify, but we have many people that are having in their bank account a lot of money, and monies that are just staying in the bank account or they are invested only in traditional finance. That's a pity, because on the other side, DeFi has already demonstrated to be able to deliver a much higher value, and through this service they are trying to accomplish exactly this. The idea is to earn up of a fixed 10% of APY, and this will be reached giving the opportunity to the user to choose the type of investment that they want to be exposed. There will be different kind of types of investment, higher risk and lower risk, and obviously also the yield will change. As you can see, they are leveraging a fiat on-ramp converter for US dollar to USDC. So the whole idea is that you don't even need to have some cryptos in your wallet in order to be exposed to cryptos. You have just to use your own fiat in order to be able to choose the kind of investments that you want to be exposed to. And they are also working in partnership with many financial institutions in order to allow people to invest on assets that are part of traditional finance that otherwise they wouldn't be able to invest on, because these kind of investments usually are just for funds, institutions, and so on. Not to mention that accessing these traditional markets provide an uncorrelated return for crypto markets. So it is important because it will give you the opportunity to reduce your exposure. And if you are thinking, yes, oh my God, I want to just make money, I don't want to just be protected because I know that the market will grow a lot. Yes, I can understand your point, but you have to know that higher is the amount of money that we are moving, also lower should be the risk. You can't just put into an Olympus DAO platform $1 billion. It would be completely crazy. Not to mention that there is not even enough liquidity, because another also big problem, because DeFi is still so small, is that there is not enough liquidity. We need more liquidity in order to be able to scale this market, and the only way that we can retrieve this kind of liquidity and is create some bridge, something that will enable institutions, companies, and so on to access to the DeFi world in a compliant way, obviously. But it's not ended here, because as you probably know, one of the major advantages of the DeFi ecosystem is the ability to provide capitals at a speed that is uncomparable with any traditional market. And this is something that could be really powerful also for companies. Imagine instead of just waiting for weeks, months, or even more some time to the approval of the funds that you need in order to scale up your business and so on. This is something that actually you can do only into the traditional market, because to do this you need to be compliant. You can't just expose your company with DeFi, because you would have many difficulties in order to manage this kind of transition. And also, what will be the next step for the reserve funding is exactly this: enabling companies, institutions who need money faster to use DeFi in order to access the capital. And this leveraging the blockchain, because the blockchain is a distributed ledger that is able, as you can see from here, there is a big difference from a centralized exchange that is overwhelming from the central point that will become also the bottleneck of the system. On the other side, leveraging the blockchain and using it as a guarantee to allow people to confirm identity, to be sure that the funds are for real available and so on, it is something that can really speed up the whole process. So guys, let's try to summarize. As we have said, the market from now into the next year will change because we need more users, and to attract more users we need an easier interface, and we need something that will allow also to people that are not familiar with the DeFi ecosystem to access this market. But on the other side, we need also more compliance, because all the big players, in order to be able to use DeFi, we need something that is compliant. unFederal Reserve already delivered the first tool, that is the reserve lending, where you can borrow or supply cryptos. It has already also his own governance token, that is the ERSDL token, that you can already buy or trade it also on KuCoin. And it is launching into the next couple of weeks also the reserve funding that, as I explained to you a moment ago, it will be something that could be really a game changer, because it will allow people to create this bridge between the traditional finance and the DeFi ecosystem. That this is something that we truly need. The message that I want to send to you is, guys, don't only think about what's going on right now, because if you want to really, for real, make money into the long term, you have to try to figure it out how the market will change into the next years. It's not only a matter of weeks or months. You don't have only to think about, yes, the bear market will come. Yes, it's quite probable that the bear market will come, but it will not change the overall situation. We already know that the market will go through a major contraction with any probability. The point is that DeFi is here to stay, but it should evolve into something else. And with any probability, simplifying the user experience and being compliant, it is something that will become a trend into the next years. Guys, if you have any kind of question, just write me into the comments below and I will be more than happy to answer. And remember also to leave me a big thumbs up, drop a comment in order to help this content reach more people and help other people to discover also what will happen into the DeFi ecosystem in the next couple of years. Guys, thank you for following me, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. Bye guys.